It was not too many years ago. I remember a situation which was kind of funny. It was I was having pizza and a cold beverage on a warm Sunday evening, and while we were sitting there eating our pizza and having a good time and conversing, this priest friend of mine, we were talking about just some of the silly things that we have seen, during our course of priesthood from the time we were deacons or so up to the present time. And so, as of course the banter goes, we're kind of outdoing one to the other. And he said, "So top this one." So he gives a story and we were laughing. And I said, "Let me tell you this story." And in fact, in this conversation, we even said we should write books. And he says, "Yeah," that would be a lot of fun to do. "What would you call yours?" And I'd say, "I'm calling mine Perish the Thought." That's going to be mine. Because it is, in many ways, as hard and challenging as it is to be a priest, there are a lot of moments that are just fun or funny. And so here's the one story I shared with him. It was probably my third or fourth assignment, and it was my first as a full-time educator and a full-time assistant pastor. So in church terms, 100% and 100% means 100%, It's not quite mathematical. And so I had moved in on a Tuesday, was getting things ready, went to the classroom, started getting things ready, and then I was putting it together. My last piece was my office in the rectory building. And I had to write a homily, so I got up early that morning, and I'm tearing through books and boxes trying to get together a homily. And all of a sudden, about a little bit after 9 in the morning, the doorbell rings. I go to the door, and this is a small lady, and she smiles. She goes, "You're new." And I said, "I am." And I shook her hand and said hello. And she said, "I'm here for my reminder." "Your what?" "My reminder." And I said, I'm sorry, ma'am, I don't understand." She goes, "No, the reminder, it tells me what I need to do." I'm still at a loss. I'm afraid I don't know. And she's getting really frustrated, really, really, really frustrated. And I'm kind of getting somewhere between scared and frustrated. I don't know what to do. I knew that it's early on a Saturday morning, and the pastor was upstairs in his quarters. In fact, I could hear him tromping around like in the bathroom area, So eventually, in a desperation, she says, "Just tell me, give me my reminder." And I said, "Okay, go and buy milk and bread." And she looked at me, and she was puzzled, and she walked away. I closed the door, and the pastor's coming down the steps. He's a big guy, just a real big guy. Boom, boom, boom. And he goes, "So what was this all about? I heard the doorbell ringing." I said, "Yeah, a woman asked for her reminder." He looked at me without thinking. He goes, "And what'd you tell her?" I said, "Go get milk and bread." And he started laughing so hard. And he explained to me that in the 1940s and early 50s, when we first started publishing church bulletins, he knew that in the town, the Protestants called their worship aid a bulletin. We call them worship aids, okay? And so, in any case, he didn't want to get people confused, so instead of calling the Catholic bulletin a bulletin, he called it a reminder. And so she came there for a bulletin, And it's kind of a silly story, but it goes to show you that, sometimes how we say things can either connect people or they can get them really confused. Today is a reminder, and it's not like the thing you're going to find at the tables when you leave. Today is a day that we're reminded why Jesus went to the cross, why he suffered so deeply, and that is to reconnect humankind to Almighty God. And the way you and I would do it after our baptism would be the reception of the sacrament of penance. In fact, today, the church remembers, we call this Divine Mercy Sunday, because it is only by God's divine mercy that any of us are even in this room. Because if it wasn't for Jesus Christ and the whole sacrament of connecting and forgiving and remembering, why would we even be here? We would have no purpose. This gospel gives us the purpose and mentions the connectivity between God and humanity, and God's forgiveness becomes real. And so, I just remind you, is that if it's been a long time since you've had the opportunity to go to confession, today you may want to do that. We will have confessions today from 2 to 3 p.m. right here in church. At the 3 o'clock hour, we'll be praying the Divine Mercy Chaplet and then leading into adoration of the Most Blessed Sacrament. And it'll be just till 4 o'clock. I just want to give you this reminder because every now and then, we just need a little prompting, a little smile, a little bit of encouragement to do sometimes the things that are difficult to do. Go get milk and bread.